Welcome to my program, Bashy's Corner. We invite very special guests. We talk about society, integration, racism, all the issues which we think are very important, but maybe mainstream media doesn't think that these issues are important, but so is media. In the last few decades, Denmark has experienced a great change. From being one of the most open, democratic, and loving society, it has become rather unpleasant place for asylum seekers, refugees, and ethnic and religious minorities. But luckily, and there are still wonderful NGOs and people and individuals and groups who are doing non-stop work to expose racism and racist groups. NGO Demos is such a praiseworthy organization. I have known the organization, its founder, and our guest, we will talk in a minute, for their relentless fight against racism and against unpleasant groups. We have invited its present manager, Tove Jensen, to talk about the organization and its work. Welcome to my program.
Thank you very much.
So I have been thinking many years to bring you the program, but I'm happy that it helped now.
Yeah.
What does the word demos means?
It's a Greek word.
Yes.
And it means the people. The people.
The people. Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
We have chosen that name many years ago when Demos was founded in 1968.
Wow.
What should this publishing house be named? And then we were discussing it and thought that the people, folket, Demos was a good name.
Yeah, because, and I'm happy that you explained, because some people think demos mean demonstration.
Yes, yes, I know. I have a little story. When we bought our shop in Nørrebro, Sankt Hans Torv, the people in these apartments, we are at the ground, and people in the apartments in the building, they were a little bit nervous that here come a group called Demos, like demonstration. Now there would be a lot of fuss and and struggle and so on. Yeah.
Actually, thinking about NGO, you are placed in a very nice place. There is a lot of minorities. There is a lot of people live there. A lot of life. Isn't it very expensive to have that place?
Yeah, you should think that, but it isn't.
Isn't it? Okay.
No, we were very lucky to buy it in a building. It's an I don't know the English word, andelsforening.
Yes, co-ops.
Yeah, co-ops.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice co-ops.
Yeah.
And they have never raised our rent. So we pay the rent as the rest of the inhabitants.
Yes.
And we have bought it for a minimum of money
and they have
many years ago.
And they have never tried to kick you out because they can make a nice restaurant there.
Yes, but I think that they think we are a calm and nice place,
of course,
and no restaurant with drunken people.
Yeah, of course. But it's a wonderful. I'm always wondering. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, but we have. There has been a lot of people coming down in the shop and saying, we would pay a lot of money to you if you would sell it to me, but we won't.
Don't do that.
No.
Okay. You said that it was started many years back. Why was Demos started?
It was started by the Danish Vietnam committees, the Vietnam movement.
Against war?
Yeah, against the war in Vietnam, the US war in Vietnam. And we had that opinion that such a big movement should have a publishing house, because nothing were coming out from Vietnamese, from the Vietnamese people. So we imported their newspaper and some of their leaflets and books, translated it, and started up giving out books.
So it's like information center for Vietnam.
Information center. Yes, but also for what we called another USA.
Yes.
So we have as a first book given out a book named The Prophets in USA, and the prophets were the new left in US in 1964.
Yes. Yeah. That was those great times.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it an idea of a group or an individual? Who was that who came up with this idea?
It was two people. My former husband.
Yes, late husband.
Late husband. Yes. And his colleague at the study. They studied history at the university.
Okay.
And they decided to form a publishing house for giving out some books.
It's interesting because the work your organization does, and especially Iraq, I've known him from since 80s, you know. Yeah. And he did a fantastic work, but he didn't try to make himself visible, you know. It's why was he keeping, you know, like?
There's a lot of reasons, I think. The personal reason is that he was a humble man.
Yes. Yeah. Very shy too.
Yeah, very shy and private.
Private person.
And the other thing was that he was writing, and we and the research groups, they weren't demons. We were not interested in publicity, being pointed out, or so it was a kind of security tool. Yeah.
Were you threatened?
Yeah, a lot of times.
In Denmark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have members also? Is it a membership-based organization?
Yes, we have members. Yeah. A small group, but yes, we have about 1,800 members.
1,800?
No, 80 until
80.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not much. Because the work you do is fantastic. It takes a lot of energy and money and resources, you know. And you have been doing it for ages.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's supporting you then?
The members are paying something each
donations.
Month. Yeah. And then we have some
publication. You sell publication.
Yeah, we sell books, and earlier we sold LP, CDs. Nowadays.
Okay. Yes.
And
you can make enough money to survive?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. But you don't get any money from state or municipality?
No.
On a principle, or you don't want?
As a principle.
As a principle.
Yeah.
Why?
Principle.
I mean, you are paying tax. We all pay tax.
Yeah. But you see, we want to be independent, to write what we think we're right, and not being held back. If you do so, you don't get any money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But that's very normal today in Denmark, you know. Yeah. We had big NGOs, and one day from to another day there was, because we were dependent on. Demos calls itself anti-racist, anti-sexist organization.
Yeah.
What is the connection between those two things?
Oh, it's a big discussion.
Please, you have time?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I think that our interest is to support people who are suppressed, and we at the first time in the beginning we were working. We were seeing this little country in Asia, Vietnam, fighting against USA.
Big joint.
Yeah, and we were there to fight for them. And then some of us were working in Demos. We were also women. We were tired of being looked at as, here come your husband and then come you, and you don't have a meaning. You don't think anything. I want to think something. I want to say something.
Of course.
And then this struggle for equal rights for women and for men in Denmark were an issue. And it is all over the world that that women are suppressed,
of course,
by men.
So you think that this is a kind of racism also? I mean, it's a discrimination?
Yes, but sexism.
Sexism?
Yeah.
Okay, you call it sexism.
Yeah, yeah.
But the end result is the same oppression?
Yeah, it's the same.
It's very strange because a society like Denmark, one of the richest countries in the world, very educated, should be informed, you know. And you also, even today, you see a lot of sexism.
Yeah.
What are the reasons for that? Why our little Denmark still practices that?
I think it's a kind of structure in the country, and it will take a lot of years, decades, to change that.
Yeah.
Because everything is grounded on what the patriarch had decided. And even today, when I see very serious discussions in the television,
yes,
it's almost men who is talking when it is very, very serious. There are also a lot of women, but it's not about economy, example, as an example.
Middle-aged men, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they rule the world. Huh? Demos also has a documentation group, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is its job?
We have some groups in the beginning, and they worked with research about right-wing groups. Who are they? How many are they? What are they working with? Do we have to be afraid of these groups? What is the connection to the state? To PET, intelligence service, to the police. Are there any connections? Do they work together? Do right-wing people something for intelligence service in surveying you or me?
Yes.
And it was one of the groups, and some groups were working with which factories, which firms are taking part in the wars around the world.
Weapons.
Weapon in the industry, yes.
Demos claims that government cooperates with right wing.
Yeah.
Can it be possible in Denmark?
No, not as a fact, and I don't think that Lars Løkke is meeting with Daniel Carlsen, who is the chairman for the Danish.
The Prime Minister is not meeting with the right wing.
No. But they are adopting a lot of their point of views. As an example,
in the policies.
Yes, in the policies. And sometimes, if you need to know something about a certain person, for example, Demos' connection with other groups in Europe, then perhaps it's possible to get that information from a right-wing group who are working on looking at Demos, exempelvis, as an example. I don't think it is concrete, but I also think that I want to make an example.
Please.
Earlier, the Nazi movement in Denmark in 1990s, 20 years ago, has this parole. Denmark for the Danes.
Yes, I remember that very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And nowadays, you can hear Denmark for the Danes.
So it has come back again.
Yeah. And you can hear it said in television, in official medias, and
politicians.
Yeah, they are using it nowadays in this latest two years. It's possible. So in a way, this policy are
they reflect the right wing also.
Yeah.
You also document the use of surveillance and interception of the politically activist leftist groups. They are also under the people, under the police. Police look at them all the time. The leftist organizations.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
And and then you, Demos also say that the persecution of activists and subversion against legal political initiative. Why so? Why the government is doing that? Why are they going after these groups and not the right-wing groups?
I think they are going for the right-wing groups too. Now. But in the 90s and back in the 70s, not at all. They have also, they have always been, they have, I don't know the word. De har altid, they have got our newsletters to read the intelligence services. Okay. We sent it 2 numbers of each to the police station, and we know they followed these articles, the news about the right wing. And I know that.
And they use your material to keep an eye? That's interesting.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, it's official. So it was okay. But you asked why they were surveying the left wing. And at that time, I think the police and the politician thought that we were dangerous for the society, for the stability.
The left wing was dangerous?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You make all this documentation and you publish a lot of things, you know. Yeah. What is the reaction of the politician on that? Because, I mean, it's not very pleasant things which you say.
No. I think you have to ask me once more.
You publish a lot of documentation, you know, and you make documentaries, you do a lot of research, and then you publish them. Yeah. So you are critical of policies, you are critical of authorities, the police. Yeah. What is their reaction?
It is.
Why didn't they close you?
It is very well documented when we give it out.
So they can't catch you.
No, we can't be catched. But also I have spoken to the former leader of the intelligence service, and he was full of respect. It was always good work and well documented, and we were not working together, and we were a kind of enemies, but respect. Yes. So I think they accepted that, and
that you're not dangerous. You are
no.
Okay. You also have a newsletter, right?
Yeah.
What kind of issues you find to publish in that newsletter? Is it a monthly or every three months?
No, it's we have given out 120 from 88 until today. Okay. And it is given out when we have enough material. Yes, okay. And some years 6.
In a year?
Yeah, and sometimes 4 in a year. Okay.
And they're always issue oriented. You take an issue and you write
about it.
Okay. Yeah. But then Demos also marks special days in a year. You know, there's some days. What are those days? Like Human Rights Day. Yeah,
it's the 8th of March.
Yes,
Women's International
absolutely.
Day. Yes. And the 1st of May, the Workers' International Day.
Yes.
But also the 4th of May, when the Nazis left Denmark, and
also Crystal Night in November.
Yeah.
Crystal Night.
Yeah. And Crystal Night in November, the 9th of November. Okay. And also 22 of March, this anti-racist FM Day.
I want to add one day which you can maybe think about doing. Council of Europe has declared 21st of September every year as a day against Islamophobia.
Yeah.
So I think we should also think about making it something.
It's a good idea.
Last year we made it, and there were 200 people who came, in Northern neighborhoods. Yes. So there's a day you can.
And I want you to know that one of the most famous books we have given out is this we have doing a lot of research with this anti-Muslim groups in Denmark.
I have this here.
Yeah, and we have made a book some years ago, 5 years ago, with this panorama over this
I read that, absolutely. And I think the name, the anti-Muslim universe, it's wonderful. And I'm sure there are many Muslim NGOs who would like to also talk to you and say if they can take it. In 2010, Demos conducted a campaign targeting Danish People's Party's xenophobic influence on the government policies.
Yeah.
Why to go after Danish People's Party?
Because it was growing so big, and we think they have connections from the beginning with the old racist group in the Danish organization, the Danish Union. I don't know the name in English, but den danske forening.
Yes, Danish organization.
Yeah, and with Søren Krarup, and he was one of the members from the Danish People's Party in Parliament, and he had this wing of the politicians in Danish People's Parties with him, and we think they are very important talking about this their anti-Muslim agitation.
Exactly, they are the responsible when they started with Glistrup and then later Pia Kærsgaard took over. But later you also published a comprehensive article about Lars Hedegaard.
Yeah.
The man who established Free Press Society.
Yeah.
Why this man? Is he also dangerous? Is he also worth?
We think he's very important because he speaks about one of these freedom rights, ytringsfrihed.
Yeah, freedom of expression.
Yeah, speech, and I think he's an important and clever man, and he has a lot of international connections.
True.
And we think it's very important to look at him, see how he's working, and then argue against him, and doing something to free this right of expression for people who not has the power, but I think that Lars Hedegaard has the power, and he is in the papers. He can speak, but a lot of people is not able to speak. And this freedom, this right, is for the people who not has the power.
True. Yeah. But when I listen to him, things he say, believe me, I mean, with all due respect, he comes to me sometime very xenophobic person. The things he says, like. All Muslim men rape their daughters and nieces. This kind of is totally nonsense. I mean, you can criticize Muslims or Islam, but when you do that type of criticism, it's not criticism; it is demonizing a religion. Then I want to ask you, because you people have done very good work with this anti-Muslim universe in Denmark. Is anti-Islam network very large in Denmark?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have got wind. These movements, they are just a new group called the New Borgerlige.
Yeah. New right wing.
New right wing, but they call them conservative. The new conservative in a way. Yeah. And they are talking about. Not races, but genetic, and being white is important. Being Christian is important.
White supremacy,
And they are it's a big group of intellectual people working at some universities and had a big influence, and they are pressing the Danish People's Party from right, and I think there are a big group here just out to the right, the Nazis, but it's a very big universe, and it's growing, I think. It's not minimized, it's growing.
No, and it's growing now. There's also, in the Danish church, there's a group of priests who call themselves anti-Islam network. You know? There has been an increase in the hate crime against Muslims since 9/11, you know. I mean, snatching the headscarves and beating up people, you know. Is Demos also documenting that kind of hate crimes?
I think not just now, but we have done that before. But there is another group working with this, and I know some people from the Muslim groups who had decided to work with this. But we want to do it. It's a question of
resources, time, and
resources,
effort.
Time.
Well, I will take. I hope that people who have seen this interview, who have learned a lot about Demos, but also the wonderful, important job your organization doing it. And I will also talk with the people who I know that maybe they can work together with you. Thank you very much for coming, Tove. It's a pleasure.
Same to you.
And also, I'm sure that our viewers have listened to Tove with attention and have come to realize that Islamophobia and racism is still very, very alive in Denmark, and we should all fight against it. Until next time, take good care of yourself.